So I know somebody would ask, how do you hear the voice of God? Personally, I'll tell you from my own experience so far. The moment I chose to be purely honest with Christ, when I decided to surrender my life to Him completely, I decided to tell Him my whole journey, my whole truth, the sin that I've committed so deeply that I know I'm addicted to, the things that I've always wanted to do but in a sinister way, the bitterness that I've ever had with some people that did me wrong, the things that I've encountered with people's children. Like, I had a lot. Some of the things that were done to me that I don't understand why somebody would do that to me. Now, these are some of the trials that I went through. Some came in form of temptations, and I fell into those temptations because I never used to feed myself. I was just in my teenage, experimenting life. And I didn't know, but I used to know I desire one day to be at peace with myself and wanting to know who Christ is. Because the person who actually influenced me to wanting to know more about Christ was my mother. My mom was that person who is so sincere with God. Like, she's so sincere, and when you talk to her, even the kind of wisdom that comes from her mouth, I knew this is not my mother. Like, there's something that is influencing my mother to say such powerful things, because, hey, what? So my mother, God bless my mom, my mother has gone through so much that we have seen, but she chose Christ, and Christ has always been so faithful with her. And so she was my influence. I could see so many things, and she would conquer it. But I would wonder, how is she able to do this and maneuver all these things? Because of what I was thinking, sometimes hata sipati solution. Nafika mahali nasikia sasa kichwa inataka kubust. And I inside of me, I desired to reach a point where my mother has reached with God, with Christ, because she's on another level. So I desired that. And so when I decided to give my life to Christ and decided I'm going to be very honest with you, because I've been honest with other people's children, like 3 of them, and I've seen how they have just used my honesty and twisted it to start now fighting me back. And that's how I came to know that it is not right to share your information with people. Share it with God first, because He will give you a solution before you go telling people. Let that which will come and tell me here be a story of how you conquered it, than you coming to tell me something while I know myself I'm going to use it against you. Some use it against someone because of the events that have occurred. Some intentionally they wanted to do. Some, it's just the circumstances that made you to now reach to that level and say, but it does not justify you using somebody's honesty to just poke and use it to manipulate the person. That is not right. So because I experienced that, I wanted somebody who will be honest with me and I'll be honest with him. And so I decided to try it with Christ. It was a trial. And so I told him everything I went through. And let me tell you guys, when you have an encounter with Christ, something happens. You find yourself lamenting, crying. You cry out, you cry your soul out. Something happens when you decide to fully commit to Christ. The moment He comes to you, things happen. So I find myself confessing even the things I've never told anyone. And I heard Him telling me, tell me all, even the deepest secret you've never told anyone. That voice I heard, and I said it all. And I felt like something has been lifted, and I am free. Kabisa, I'm free. And I don't know, even the way I started seeing life, things just changed. And then, because I accepted Him, I found myself reading the Bible. I just found myself looking for a Bible. Nobody told me to go and look for the Bible, but I found myself looking for the Bible. And the first thing I had, open the book of Romans, the voice, open the book of Romans and start there. And I started reading the book of Romans. I think it was in January this year. And I started reading. And for me, I felt like this journey, let me start sharing it with my YouTube channel. And I started doing podcasts. I opened some platforms where I can share. I still continue posting there. And then I opened a TikTok account. But I never posted anything because I felt I wasn't ready. So I read. And when I was reading, I could see some of my faults, some of my characters very well described in the Bible. And I'm like, I've been reading this Bible, I have never seen these things. And there's one that stood out for me, that which I'll share with you in the next video. So for me, I'll tell you, if you really want to hear the voice of God clearly, first, commit yourself to Christ wholeheartedly, completely. Usiingize mguu moja na mguu ingine iko nje. Completely accept Christ. Commit yourself to Christ completely. And by that is confessing everything, and I mean everything that you've ever done, that you know, that is deep down in your soul. Tell Him. The good thing about Jesus, He never judges you. He's quiet and He listens to you, and He gives you a solution. So after you've told Him, you will hear Him completely. There's a moment you'll be so quiet, and then you'll hear His voice. He will talk to you, and He will tell you, my child, there are people who have encountered Christ, and they have been embraced because of the different tribulations, different trials that they have undergone in their lives. That's why your story is unique, and my story is unique when it comes to our Christ-like life. So if you really want to hear His voice, be honest with Him with everything about yourself, and don't let any sin that you know you have ever committed, that which you have not told Him, tell Him, because the enemy will use that against you, and you will not hear His voice. You'll start hearing the voice of the enemy just because of that one thing you never told Christ about. So be honest with Christ when you have decided to fully commit yourself, like submit yourself fully, surrender yourself fully to Christ. And I'm telling you, the moment you decide to be honest with Him and tell Him your whole truth, you will hear His voice. So that's my story. So I'll share with you some of the characters that I saw in that were well described in the book of Romans in my next video. So I'll see you when you see me. And kindly, guys, read your Bible, pray every day. The best prayer our